This year, Nairobi was named the top city in Africa, recording a 21.8% growth in its high-end property market. Despite this escalation, housing experts still predict continued growth in the sector as interest rates ease.
What we've seen is property prices were very slow in the first half of this year, okay? But once the interest rates started to come through, we started to see a real pressure on property prices. There was a real demand to try and push prices forward in the third quarter, which just hadn't been there earlier in the year.
Increased literacy levels and advancement in technology have contributed to an informed consumer, hence the demand for top-class housing. Tenants are now well aware of their tastes and preferences in selecting an ideal home.
The standards have increased dramatically in the last few years. If I look at just the last 4 years, the quality that developers are having to put in now to sell has increased dramatically. It's a much more competitive market. And if you look at sort of a phase one of some of these super developments that have been going on in Nairobi and compare them to the fixtures and finishings people are putting in phase four, the attention to detail that people are going to now to try and sell these homes. And it's all because of competition. You know, there's a lot of competition in this market.
Housing developers in Kenya have got to keep pace with international construction quality standards as expected by the expatriate community living in Nairobi.
I arrived around about 2006, 2007 as we planned this project, which is a large project down Mombasa Road called Green Park. And I saw the standards were a little bit low. There was some poor finishes and question marks over the quality at that time. And I reckoned that with bringing international standards to the Kenyan market, we could really do very well.
What the international standard is. So that there's less of a gap between what you get here and what you get, say, in London or Johannesburg, for that example. The other thing is interesting to note here is also there are a lot of foreigners here. There's a huge growing interest in the local market, and even some of, we're also starting to form partnerships with companies in South Africa and in the UK, because they're all interested in extending their services here for their clients who are international as well.
Importation of construction material is also at its peak as part of the process to improve on local housing standards. A challenge to local property experts is how to be innovative in meeting this demand.
So you find if we're designing a furnished service apartment, you know, there was a time where people would just go and buy everything from China. But you see, just because something is imported doesn't mean that it's tasteful. So people are looking for a mix, some local content, some imported content to produce something that's a real quality interior. That also augurs well for us because that means they need to get a designer to get the right mix of artworks and furniture and finishes and that sort of thing.
Going forward, with growing investments in Kenya, price volatility in upmarket properties will remain high. Local housing experts are challenged to benchmark construction standards with their international counterparts. For Ion Kenya, I'm Laban Cliff Onserio.